Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We're really looking forward to talking through this one. So it's going to be about the power of one-to-one personalisation. I think oftentimes when we think about personalisation, we think about it either as kind of a personalisation in a general way, but what about when we target it down to being your company speaking directly to somebody? So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Today you have Ed North, a senior professional services consultant. You saw me glance at his title there so that I could make sure I didn't butcher it. And I'm Christian. I am an account director with the Spotler Group. In this short webinar today, just 15 minutes, we're going to go through a little bit about the use case, which I'll host, and then Ed will take us through a demo. He'll take over the screen and just show a little bit of what that could look like for you. So a little bit about how we use it and a little bit about the actual nuts and bolts of moving forward with that. So let's get going. We're going to go through a little bit now. So this piece here, this product recommendations, this represents a change in the actual UI and the UX of your website. So it's about changing the layout. So somebody goes onto the website to navigate as normal, and they see a section of that screen real estate committed to them, to the personalized aspect of their journey. So what you can do is just do, for example, items you may like. So serving up products similar to people like them, which we understand from our CDP. Our customer data platform is at the center of all of this, capturing information and building up a picture not only of that person but of the personas within your database. So even if we don't know anything or very much about them, we can make assumptions based on personas. So items you may like, we could base that either on what they've browsed, what they've looked at, alternatively what other people like them have looked at. It's kind of an opportunity to begin that personalization journey, to build up that data picture. And again, this is just on the website. So this is everybody will see a slightly different piece. They'll see a slightly different flow. And actually what we've seen is that we can see up to 15% more revenue when one-to-one experiences are there. Obviously, we will have all had conversations around website with the web and UX and UI team. We want to do this, we want to do this. Actually, this is additional to that. This is extra information that we'll be serving up and changing how they interact with your site. So that's part one. Let's look at editing a section of the website and committing some digital real estate to that. The next one is more of an interruption tactic, which is about serving up the recommendations in a pop-up. So they're navigating through the site as normal, so they're on product pages and so forth. You could have it so that when it hits a certain page, then actually you get this recommendation. And what that's going to do is to start to build up that kind of the conversation, making them feel like it's not just you saying, here's our whole website, go and find what you're looking for. So here's our website, allow us to offer these signposts to things that you like. I know there's lots of conversation around pop-ups and how they should be used. And actually a lot of the way that we talk to our clients is using them as signposts and obviously for the data enrichment and so forth. But what are we asking? We want to understand something more. It's putting them in a different potential, guiding them in a different direction on the site. In this instance, hey, here's some other stuff you might be interested in. Open their worldview a little bit more. And actually what we can see is kind of a up to 20% conversion increase when using those tailored pop-ups for 3 or more key personas. So again, this is all about increasing the engagement and also the conversions and driving that feeling of conversation and a guided concierge-led tour through your website. So that's a little bit of a couple of the use cases that we're going to talk about. So at a top level, be thinking about at a core level, how do you want your digital experience to be edited? By that, can you commit digital real estate to that, to the sections? And alternatively, at what point is it the right time to change the course of the conversation through a pop-up, more of an interruption led in what they're doing? So those are the two things that we'd encourage you to have a think about. And Ed's actually going to show us a little bit now about how that looks in the Activate platform. Ed, I can't hear you at the moment. I could hear Ed loud and clear when we were speaking just before this, so something has changed. For those of you who don't know, this is Spotlight Activate. This is our web email personalization tool with the CDP built in. Ed's going to show us through. Ed, at any point, feel free to check your microphone. Otherwise, I'll keep talking. There we go. You're back with us, so I can stop talking. It's over to you.
Okay, Christian. Not happened there, sorry guys. So yeah, this is our Spotler Activate platform. So before we jump in and start building our recommendations and popovers, we first just need to create the logic behind the recommendation. So Christian touched on making sure it's personalized to that individual. So if I jump into products on the left-hand side and then go into my product sets, that's where I can set up that logic. So we might want to have different logic for those customers who are brand new to the website. We haven't got that engagement data from them, so we want to have more of a generic recommendation. You know, what's selling at the moment, what's most popular. But for those customers who we know what they've been looking at, what they've purchased before, we can go in and we can actually, you know, create those recommendations that are tailored towards them. So there are some default ones that we create out of the box. So you've got stuff like recommended for you, and yeah, last purchase, for example. But if I create a new product set and just walk you through the options that you have, there are different base product sets that you can use. The most frequent would be recommended for you, which is based on their purchases or items you may like, which is based around what they've been looking at, compare that to other people, what they typically look at and go to buy after viewing X product. So I'll choose that as my base logic here. In the settings, there's a few things I can tweak here. So I can change the number of products. I can add some weight based on what they've last been looking at or remove that. I can say if they've already seen some recommendations on the website and they haven't, you know, gone ahead and bought that product, maybe don't recommend that again. So I've got those few sort of options I can add in here. I can also add in a fallback product set. So if they are into very niche items on the website and maybe they've already purchased all the items in that category, I might want to fall back to something a bit wider rather than being as, you know, as granular as the items you may like recommendations. So I can always add in that fallback product set and sort of cast that wider net as well. Below that, I've got filters. So if I wanted to, I could sort of control the narrative slightly where I could say, actually, I only want to show items that are on discount, and the discount must be more than 10%, for example. You can also add in items such as category. So maybe if you've got a Black Friday sale, pull through all the items that are, you know, as part of that Black Friday sale in that category, for example. We could look at things like price. So only show those items that are at least £100, for example. So you can sort of add in additional rules to this if you needed to. Once happy with that, you click on Save Product Set. That'll then save that product set. We can then use that as a, you know, the backbone to our recommendation. So if I go into personalizations on the left-hand side, I can create a new personalization. I've got a couple of templates that I can use here. So the first category of templates is the website overlay templates. That's your sort of popovers. So we'll go through that next. But for the first one, I want to just look at an embedded template. So that is a recommendation block on the website, or maybe even a slider to sort of slide through those products. So if I was to select slider here, pull that through, I've then got my products on the right hand side as a preview. And because I haven't set my product set, the logic behind that yet in the settings of the personalization, I'm just seeing some dummy shoe products here. But I can come in here, I can select my product set on the left hand side here, and I might want to go for items you may like, for example. So you can see there it's going to be based on that individual, their current cookies, so that individual's browsing behavior. It's going to pull through some example products here, but this will obviously update for that individual person. I can tweak a few things here. So the number of products I want to have available. So yeah, you can slide through up to 8 here at the moment. It's going to show at least 3 products. When I get it onto the website, it's a really easy tool where I can basically copy the website URL. I can paste that in here, and then I can then basically open up the website with the selector tool, and you can see here it will then basically allow me to select an area on the website where I'd like that recommendation to go. So if I was on this category page, I might want it sitting just below those categories. So I can select that area in the website, return back to activate, and then you can see here it's going to replace those elements. I can say actually let's insert it behind, so basically below that element on the website. So that's going to sit underneath those categories. For display, I can maybe hide the image, for example. I can sort of customize that a bit further. I can add in a header if I wanted to. These are obviously dynamic values, so whatever product's being pulled through and recommended, it's then going to show the image for that product. I can see here the text is, the description, sorry, is quite long, so I want to hide that or maybe update that slightly. So I can sort of tweak those options there, add in my click here buttons, for example, change the colors. That's now basically my recommendation has been created. I can then publish that onto the website. Because I've selected the location to where that should go, I can basically just click on save and publish. That will then publish that live straight away. There's no code that you need to add onto the website. You can do it all within the platform. Cool. Within the personalization, there are a few options. I can do some split testing, so I can test different logic, see which one works best, and then sort of let the system work that out for me, and then recommend the variant that has the most success for you. And then down here, we've got a few options about who to show this personalization to. So I might want to set this to be only shown to those customers who we have some behavior for them, for example, or I might want to select a different personalization for those brand new visitors, for example. So that's the sort of embedded recommendation of the website. If I go back into personalizations and create a new one, I'll just take you through how we would do that popover variant of that. So in the tab here, I'm going to leave it on website overlays. I can then go into overlay there. I've then got, again, my preview on the right-hand side. I can then customize the variant name. If I was going to do some split testing, I want to create a variant A, variant B. And then the content down here, I can either select a singular product. So maybe there is a product you want to push, but obviously we're looking at personalized, that individual experience. So I'm going to select product set here as the option. And exactly the same as before, I can choose that recommended for you or items you may like. For example, that's going to pull through that individual item that's best suited for that browser on the website. I can set the number of products that should be shown. For display, like before, I can tweak certain aspects. So I can remove the description. I can change the call to action button there. I can change the colors, for example. I can also set where it should be shown. So I could have top center, top left, for example. Obviously, that's quite a large image. I want to do a couple of settings there to reduce that image size. Maybe remove the description, add in a header of recommended for you, for example. But yeah, it's really easy to create that popover and then sort of publish that live onto the website. Cool. As I've discussed before on the other page, you can change who sees which piece of content on the website. So because this is a popover targeting those visitors who we have that behavior stored against that individual, I might want to sort of set the audiences here to only be shown to those customers who have visited the site before and looked at a couple of products. If it's a brand new visitor, I might want to show a newsletter sign up popover instead. So you can sort of personalize the experience depending on what data you hold against that individual. Cool.
Fantastic.
That's good with you, Christian.
Thank you. Yes, that's fantastic. Thank you, Ed. If you have any questions at all, please do pop them in the chat. We've had one in so far. Ed, you kind of touched on this a little bit there, but in terms of the use of only showing it to certain people, would you recommend on pages that you have something, say a personalized pop-up, would you recommend having something there as a replacement, or would you only put it on certain pages? Would you only show the newsletter? Yeah, would you show, basically the question is, would you switch recommendations on and off for audiences, or does everyone have to see it? I suppose our answer to that is you can get down into the minutia of who
exactly that
should see it. So, and actually it will very much depend on your website, what you want to do, and your audience. So you might actually say, actually, if I'm not going to show you some products, let's point you to something else. We've got a questionnaire. We want to understand something more about you so that we can serve you something better next time. So it will vary depending on what you're trying to achieve with your website. But Ed, the answer is yes, you can have it on or off and show it to whoever you want to.
And also, you know, for that popover recommendation, if they're in the checkout pages, let's not show them that they're already committing to buy. You know, we're going to hide that popover from those pages. So you can set, yeah, some rules based on what URLs to show on as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. If you do have further questions or you would like to explore the tool a little bit more, you can request a demo. So yeah, either contact your account manager if you're an existing customer, or use contact@spotler.co.uk as your next action. We'd love to have a conversation with you about that. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening and for joining us today, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.